They really thought I'd be too stupid, or maybe too tired, to fight back. Imagine that. Someone tries to steal your $10 million property just because you bought it for a quarter, and they assume you'll just roll over and hand them the keys. I mean, seriously? That's the story I'm about to tell you. If you've ever wondered what happens when a broke, divorced plumber tangles with a suburban tyrant and her army of lawyers, keep listening. You're not going to believe half this crap, but I lived every minute of it. Let me take you back. It all started the morning I met Delilah Thornfield. Picture this. I'm outside my cabin, my property, mind you, breathing in that cold Colorado air, still tinged with pine and fresh sawdust. I'm sore, sweating through my t-shirt, finally making some headway on repairs. That's when she rolls up in her spotless luxury SUV, like she's arriving at some five-star spa, not my muddy driveway. Her boots probably cost more than my monthly grocery bill, crunching on the gravel. She gets out, waves a stack of legal papers in the air, and declares, without blinking, that this place now belongs to her precious HOA. And that smile, God, you ever see someone grin at you with that kind of practiced, dead-eye condescension? She must practice in the mirror. Let me back up, though. You might be wondering how a washed-up plumber like me ends up in a war for a mountain cabin most people would kill to own. 6 months earlier, I was just Marcus Kane, 52, living in a Denver apartment where the walls smelled like microwaved regret. Divorce had hollowed out my bank account, half my tools gone, half my spirit missing in action. Ex-wife Jennifer even took the good set of wrenches. But she left the truck, probably out of mercy. It reeked of pipe glue and bad decisions. Most weekends, I'd haunt county tax auctions, hunting for fixer-uppers. You ever been to one of those things? It's like a sad little circus in a courthouse. Nervous folks shifting on benches, the auctioneer barking out numbers. People think it's boring, but there's this electric desperation in the air. It's addictive. That Tuesday, I spot one line on the list, Whispering Pines Cabin. 15 acres. Lakefront. Minimum bid? 25 cents. I thought maybe it was a typo. The photo looked like a tornado had gotten bored and moved on. Roof caved in, windows shattered, but lakefront in Colorado? That's not land. That's lottery ticket territory. I had to see it. Drove up Highway 285, tires grumbling, truck radio crackling static. When Lake Serenity came into view, it looked unreal, clear as glass, snow on the mountain peaks. And there, hugging the shore, sat this tired old cabin. Log walls from the 60s, foundation straight as a level. Yeah, it needed everything, but I could see it. My old man taught me to look for bones, the kind you can build on. I'm out there poking around, tape measure in one hand, when that white Escalade pulls up and parks with surgical precision. Out steps Delilah, hair like a silver helmet, sunglasses reflecting everything but her soul, clipboard clutched like a weapon. She says, "Excuse me, I'm Delilah Thornfield, president of the Whispering Pines Homeowners Association. You know that voice people use when they want you to feel small?" That was her specialty. I held up my tax deed, proud like a kid showing off a gold star. Marcus Kane. Just bought the place. She looked me up and down. Then came that smile. "Oh, sweetie, tax sales are adorable, but they don't override our covenants." She plopped this brick of a manual in my hands. "Your structure violates 17 standards. Demolition required." Can you believe that? So I told her, calm as I could, this place was built 40 years before the HOA even existed. It's grandfathered in. Property law, basic stuff. She gave me that look. "I'm sure a tradesman like you doesn't grasp legal complexities," she purred. But she wasn't talking to me. She was talking at me, like I was the janitor who'd wandered into a board meeting. She said they'd already bulldozed a dozen places just like mine. Our attorney has never lost. I suddenly felt the mountains pressing in on all sides. I tried to stand my ground. "I bought this place fair and square. I'm fixing it up." She just leaned in, voice all low and dangerous. "People like you usually find it easier to walk away." There was the knife twist. Not her kind of people. Not cut from the right cloth. She gave me 72 hours to change my mind. Got in her SUV, drove off, left me standing there with nothing but a faded receipt and the distant call of a hawk. It's funny. My dad always said bullies only understand one language. You hold your ground. What he didn't tell me is sometimes the bully has lawyers and a whole damn army of paper pushers behind her. Week 1 of Operation Fixer-Upper quickly turned into survival training. Monday, I'm hauling rotten boards out of the yard, and here comes a pickup, shiny, official. Out steps a kid, 20-something, doughy, reflective vest 2 sizes too big. Bryce Thornfield, he says. Yeah, same last name. I'm the HOA compliance officer. He looked like he'd flunked out of mall cop school. You parked your truck wrong, he told me. Parallel, not perpendicular. He handed me a $500 fine with the self-satisfaction of someone who thinks he's just solved world hunger. Tuesday, another fine for unauthorized construction noise. I'd used a circular saw at 9 a.m. Wednesday. Waste storage violation because I had a dumpster out front. Thursday, landscaping violation. Apparently, not planting petunias while rebuilding a foundation is some kind of crime. Each ticket, $500, threatening liens if I didn't pay. Delilah's playbook was death by paperwork. Bleed me dry, dollar by dollar, until I gave up. But here's the thing. Plumbers like me, we figure stuff out. So that weekend, I drove to the county records office, a basement that smelled like old socks and hopelessness. 3 hours later, I found it. HOA established 8 years ago. My cabin? Built in 1962. My dad always talked about grandfathering, old rules protecting old places. Turns out the law agrees. Pre-existing non-conforming use. Means if your house was there first, the HOA can't touch you. Monday, I took my files to the cheapest lawyer in town, Caldwell and Associates, sandwiched between a nail salon and a vape shop. Their paralegal, Zoe, took one look at my paperwork and lit up like she'd won trivia night. You've got serious protection here, she said. We filed a motion. Just like that, every one of Delilah's tickets was legally worthless. But that was just the start. That night, I posted a time-lapse of me tearing out the rotten floorboards. Just a regular guy, fixing up a cabin, blasting some classic rock in the background. People started watching. Comments like, "Stick it to the HOA," rolled in. Pete, the local hardware guy, started giving me discounts. "She's been terrorizing folks for years," he grumbled, handing me a box of nails. But not everyone was happy. Some neighbors left notes under my windshield. Others just avoided eye contact. This place ran on fear. And then someone slipped a note under my wiper. "She's done this before." Check the Kellerman property. Next morning, I drove out to the address. Empty lot, cracked foundation, grass up to my knees. Whoever the Kellermans were, they weren't around to tell their story. Friday, my next video went viral. Pressure washing the logs, decades of grime vanishing, that old wood shining through. 50,000 views overnight. Suddenly, I had an army of people rooting for me. I told the camera, they think they can bury me in paperwork, but every ticket proves I'm on the right track. I started feeling like maybe, just maybe, I could win this thing. I wasn't the only one watching those videos. Delilah saw them too. Monday of week 2, I'm wiring outlets when another official truck pulls up. County Building Inspector Harold. He slaps a stop work order on my door, bright orange sticker, like a badge of shame. "No permits for electrical," he mutters. $10,000 a day in fines, unless I stop. I told him I'd filed the permit weeks ago. He pokes at his tablet. No record. So I marched down to the county office. After 20 minutes, Janet the clerk finally finds my paperwork, stuffed in the wrong folder. "Weird, right?" she says, peering over her glasses. Turns out Harold golfs with Delilah every Thursday. Real cozy arrangement. Meanwhile, I tracked down Robert Kellerman, a ghost from the old days, at a tackle shop. Guy looked haunted. "She drove us out," he said. Citations, fines, mysteriously vanished permits, until they had to sell for peanuts. 6 months later, Delilah's husband's company buys it, flips it for a fortune. That's when it hit me. It was never about rules. It was about squeezing people out, picking up cheap property, and making bank. Armed with all this, Zoe, my lawyer, filed ethics complaints. County put Harold under investigation. The stop work order vanished overnight. Meanwhile, my videos exploded, wiring tutorials, updates, people from all over chiming in. Pete put me in touch with Harold Whitmore, a retired judge, sharp as a tack. He spotted so many violations in Delilah's tactics, it was almost embarrassing. Classic property manipulation scheme, he called it. And then the news broke. Sarah Martinez, a local reporter, calls me up, wants an interview. Turns out, I'm not the first. 12 other families, same story. With her series, the tide started turning. People started seeing Delilah for who she was, a bully in designer heels. We set up a GoFundMe. In a week, people donated enough for me to fight back in court and eat something other than ramen. But just as things looked up, Delilah decided to go nuclear. She pulled up on my driveway one evening, perfume and desperation pouring out the window. Served me papers, fraud charges. Alleged I'd scammed my way into the property, and I was now under criminal investigation. Next thing I know, the sheriff is at my door. Media calling me a con artist. Fake reviews bombing my business. Even Jennifer, my ex, calls in tears. She doesn't know what to believe. I'll tell you, when the world decides you're the villain, it's like a bad storm that just won't break. But while Delilah trashed my name, Harold, my judge friend, kept digging. He discovered the big one. Delilah's HOA never properly filed their paperwork with the state. Technically, it didn't exist. All those tickets, toilet paper, even better, old property surveys prove my cabin was never inside their boundary lines. She'd known all along. Then came the clincher. While cleaning the basement, I found a rusted metal box sealed in the wall. Inside, the original deed and a folder marked Mineral Rights Assessment. Turns out, beneath my property lay enough lithium, copper, and gold to make any tech billionaire drool, worth millions. The mineral rights were mine. That was the real prize. And Delilah, she'd known about it for years. At that point, the offers started rolling in. Mining companies waving millions. But that lake, those woods, they'd healed me. I decided, why not do something right for once? Instead of selling out, I set up a conservation trust. 90% of the land would be preserved forever, a handful of eco-cabins and sustainable mineral extraction funding the park. My haters couldn't believe it. I wasn't just keeping the cabin, I was giving back. With the legal walls closing in, Delilah tried every trick in the book. Bribery, $500,000 in cash, laid out on my table. I filmed the whole thing. When that failed, she hired actors to protest my park, chained themselves to equipment. Worst performance you ever saw. Cops showed up, half the activists didn't even know what they were protesting. Next came the vandalism. Equipment trashed, windows smashed, anonymous threats slipped under doors. My insurance dropped me, but we caught her nephew, Bryce, on security footage. Clear as day. Soon enough, the feds got involved. My kitchen turned into a war room. Old-timers, lawyers, even an FBI agent. The mountain of evidence kept growing. One morning, the DEA showed up. Anonymous tip I was running a meth lab. Spent 3 hours searching. Only thing they found was my coffee maker, which, fair, could be considered a dangerous substance. Turns out the tip came from a burner phone linked to Delilah's address. By then, the public was on my side. The hashtag Cabin Justice went national. News vans clogged the main road. Delilah's empire was unraveling. She even tried one last plea, dress down, cash in hand, begging me to settle. I didn't take the bait. And then came Judgment Day. Community center packed. News cameras everywhere. Delilah launched into her greatest performance yet, painting herself as the real victim. I let her finish, then walked to the front, projecting my files, evidence of years of fraud, embezzlement, and a fake HOA. Mid-speech, the doors burst open. FBI in, Delilah out, cuffed, and read her rights for all the world to see. Bryce, too. I told everyone. This park would create jobs, boost property values, and protect the land for generations. The standing ovation still echoes in my memory. The 25-cent cabin became the heart of a new community. Delilah? 8 years in prison. Millions in restitution. Bryce, picking up trash along the trails he tried to ruin. 12 families finally got their justice. 6 months later, I'm still here. The park open to thousands, laughter echoing off the lake. Workshops teaching folks how to stand up for themselves. Local business is booming. My plumbing gigs now come with hero discount. Even better? Sarah Martinez and I, the reporter, ended up together. We're planning a wedding on the dock next spring. Every night, I sit here, watching the sun set behind the mountains, breathing that pine-laced air. I keep the old tax receipt framed above the fireplace. A reminder that sometimes the world's stacked against you. But if you dig deep, hold your ground, and trust the right people well, sometimes justice really does show up. Late but satisfying. So here's my question to you. Where's the line between standing up for what's yours and letting go for your own peace? Ever had someone try to steamroll you? Maybe not over land, but something that mattered? I want to hear it. Drop your story, your opinion, your own enough is enough moment. Because let's be honest, sometimes the best revenge is building something beautiful out of the ashes of someone else's greed.